Welcome to Mount Hood Community College and Mount Hood Conference Football 1989. I'm Jim Shealy, and along with me is Jerry Ross. And this year we'll be covering the entire Mount Hood Conference, starting tonight with the Reynolds Raiders here at Mount Hood Community College, hosting the Crook County Cowboys. Crook County ranked number 6 in the state in preseason, Jerry, and it should be an outstanding game with Reynolds starting out their season and the new school.
It really should, Jim. It's an exciting night. The first game of the year is always an exciting time. These boys have been working hard, and they're anticipating, and I'm sure everyone here is excited about being here. There were people in the stands a long time ago, even before you and I got here, I know, and they would just soon had the game start 10, 15 minutes ago, I think. There really is a lot of spark and, like I say, excitement in the air.
Well, as we mentioned, the new Reynolds team, the consolidation of the two high schools, Columbia High School and Reynolds High School in the Reynolds District this year, gives them a school now of about 1,700, a little over, almost 1,800. Playing Crook County, who has petitioned to go AA next year, it should be an interesting matchup because Crook County is perennially in the eastern part of the state been a very, very tough ball club.
They have a good tradition going, Jim. They've always been a winner. Very strong group of people that have come back year after year to form good ball clubs over there. Their coaching staff is a hometown type of people. They get the football program going in the lower levels, and they've always been a fine ball club to watch play.
Well, we know the Reynolds team, of course, is combining the two. Mike Shanahan, with his first game as head coach of Reynolds High School combined. He was the head coach of Reynolds, of course, for the last 3 years, and joining him on his staff is Dan Baker, Mark Ferris, Mike Galloway, Wally Green, a number of people who have contributed to the success in the Reynolds district at both high schools.
Yes, and they've always known one another. They're very friendly with one another, and they get together very often and enjoy one another's company. And that's really important because when you have two schools coming together like we have, if there's any friction, you know, there could be some problems, but there isn't. These guys work very smoothly together, and I think they put together a fine program.
Well, we're certainly looking forward to an exciting ball game. Two teams, Reynolds, ranked right up there as one of the playoff contenders in the Mount Hood Conference, and of course Crook County, who is always going to be right there in the Intermountain Conference. So it should be a great ball game. We're looking forward to some great action. We're going to go to the break now, a few messages, and then we'll be back with first half action.
Mission overview, we're taking off out of March. We'll be refueling on air refueling track 307 east-west. There'll be multiple rendezvous.
Today's technology leader, the United States Air Force, offers opportunity, education, and training. Training that can count toward college credit through the Community College of the Air Force. Your Air Force recruiter has all the facts. See him today. Find out how you can become part of the Air Force team. Aim high. Air Force.
And welcome back to Mount Hood Community College. We're getting ready for the kickoff between the Reynolds Raiders and the Crook County Cowboys. The Reynolds Raiders won the toss, declined until the second half to accept their option. Therefore, Crook County will be receiving, kicking off for the Reynolds Raiders, Steve Reyes, number 86. Back for the Cowboys is David Pace, number 31, and number 33, Jay Kittlinger. Reyes getting set to kick off here. Getting the new season underway. High school football in the Mount Hood Conference, 1989. The Reynolds Raiders, their very first game. Back at the combined high school, and Reyes' kick will be taken by Keitlinger. A fake reverse. Keitlinger coming around to the right. Has an opening. Bobbles the ball and is taken down. There is a fumble on the play. And indicate the referee, we're waiting to see whether or not he was indicating. It looks like his leg was down prior to the fumble, so therefore the ball will remain in possession of Crook County, and the Cowboys then will take over 1st and 10 on their 29-yard line. Jerry, a beautiful evening. The heat possibly going to play a little bit of a factor in terms of just the depth and the number of kids. 9 degrees today, a little bit different than the kids are used to.
Well, around here it is. Crook County's a hot type of area, and I think most of their boys are probably used to this type of thing. The Reynolds kids have had, the last few days anyway, some warm weather, but there goes a fine run right there. A real fine hole opened on the left side of the line, just just outside the tackle, and a real good run.
That was Gabe Dunaway. Gabe Dunaway, number 28, coming out of the backfield, and heck of a way for them to start. Kevin Hayes is at quarterback for the Crook County Cowboys, number 10, and they're 1st and 10 now on the Raiders, already into the Raider territory on the 47-yard line. Hayes at quarterback. They're in an I set with a slot right, pitch right. Again, that's Pace. Pace going around the outside, knocked out of bounds by the right side of the Raider defense. Looks like there's just about half-yard gain on the play, so it'll be 2nd down and 9. We're right now in the first quarter with 11:06 to go here in the first quarter, and the Crook County Cowboys on their first march. 2nd down and 9 yards to go. They'll come up. Number 82 is split to the right. That's Mike Statzik.
They're in there in that slot formation, Jim. They like to run out of that formation. They haven't shown running to the slot too often in the past, but it looks like they're going to do that today. They ran to the slot.
That was John Bachman, number 23, on a pitch out to the right. They seem to run, they'll run a number of things out of that slot formation. They like to throw mainly, as we understand it, you know, in terms of when they run a pro set or something like that, they're probably going to be looking to pass a little bit, and somewhat predictable based upon their set. It's at least they have in the past. However, they do have a new coach this year. John Murray is a first-year coach, taking over his first head coaching job after being assistant at Crook County. Hayes back to pass. Hayes throws the ball up and incomplete. Looks like it was intended for number 28 that time, Gabe Dunaway.
Floyd Danielson made a real good rush on the quarterback, Hayes, and forced him to throw that ball, I think, a little bit off balance, and therefore it was incomplete.
It's going to be 4th down now at about 6. A long 6 to go at the Raider 43-yard line. Crook County coming up, back to punt is number 10. Again, that's the quarterback, Kevin Hayes.
We've got Kurt Budge back there to receive for Reynolds.
Off to the side of his foot. Looks like it's going off to the side, and it bounces out on about the 17-yard line. So not a chance for a run back for Budge. And the Raiders will take over on their own 17-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Raiders with their first possession.
Well, I think Reynolds has to be pretty happy. And they're fired up, and they got off a couple of Prineville got a couple of good plays there, and Reynolds was not quite ready and got some good gainers, but Reynolds stiffened up and stopped him, Jim, and I think that we may see that type of thing happening all night long.
Michael Maroney, a quarterback for the Raiders, out of a quick count, just a straight dive up the middle, and stuffed right at the line by number 69 that time.
Mike Ford did a fine job of getting off his block, and really seems to be fired up. He's a big kid, and they depend on him. He's an exciting player to watch.
6'3", 220, defensive tackle, number 69 from Crook County that time, taking it on. Again, it'll be 2nd and 10, no gain on the play. Reynolds in their first possession, coming out of split backs with a wing back right. Salandria. Maroney at quarterback. Hands off again. It's up the middle. And Ben Clark again, number 40, running the ball up the middle. Gets about 3 on the play, possibly 4. 2nd down and a long 6.
There's a lot of excitement on the sidelines, Jim. These Reynolds players and Prineville players, they're just, any one of them is just itching to get in there. You can see it in their faces. They're really excited to be here this night on a beautiful night for football.
Number 82 split left is Evan Selby. Maroney at quarterback again. Split backs. Little counter on the inside. That's Warren Alandria. And Alandria.
Well, he got about 2 or 3 yards out of that, Jim, but the fellow was being trapped was number 77, and he was a little bit tough to handle. He's about 6'4", and he broke down the block and was able to slow up that play.
Back to punt will be Joe Simmons, number 52 for the Raiders. Deep for Crook County is number 33. That's Jay Keitlinger. And also...
Oh, Jim, we lucked out there. That was a poor hike back to the kicker. The kicker kept his cool and looked up and saw that there wasn't a big rush on him, so he did get the kick away, but he was pretty nervous because the ball did come bouncing back to him.
We did have a penalty on the play, so we'll wait and see what the official has to say in this situation. Looked like we had an ineligible player downfield, and so it wasn't a real strong punt. The ball is down on right about the 49-yard line of Reynolds, so Crook County actually going to exercise their option here. Might just decide to go ahead and take the ball at this time. And
it's good ball position, Jim. I think that they would be wise in taking it there. They don't, if anything, they're only going to gain maybe 3 or 4 yards on a real good
offense. Decline.
On a real good return.
Okay, so 49-yard line, Crook County will take over, and Reynolds having to scramble a little bit here to get their folks out. They anticipated that Crook County might take the penalty, but they did not. So Crook County will start on the 49-yard line of Reynolds, and again, good field position. They've had pretty good field position both possessions now, and bringing them up, quarterback Kevin Hayes, number 10, out of an I set, slot right. Handing off inside.
It's Backman.
It's Backman upside. Looked like there might have been a fumble on the play. The referee's getting in there to determine. And what do we have second down. No, they say that they did maintain possession, or else a knee touch before the fumble. That's twice that's happened now. It looks like a gain of a long 1, maybe 2 on the play, so second down and 8.
Jason Osborne came up with that ball. He thought for sure he had a recovered fumble there, and was very excited about it. But the runner was down before he fumbled the ball.
Hayes brings him up now, slot right again. Back to pass. Hayes looking down. That's number 88. Oh, I'll tell you, that probably was one that could have been caught by John Sorensen. That went right through his hands. That was
right off
really
his finger.
A well-conceived play, actually, Jerry, in terms of good ball fake inside, good running fake. The defense really sucked in, and the tight end, number 88, John Sorensen, able to get behind the defense, and the ball actually went right between his hands. And we see Mark Ferris on the sideline, the defensive coordinator for Reynolds, and giving the signals in terms of getting information in so that the Reynolds Raiders can take on the Crook County Cowboys. He's again over. Motion this time, motion away, and we got a number of handkerchiefs being thrown on
Jeremy
the play.
Hansen jumped offside, Jim. He was a little anxious. I think that is probably the case in most of those fellas out there. They are a little anxious. They're a little tense. They'll get down and really play some solid football here in just a few moments. But that pass play was very well designed. They had a crossing action between the backs.
Ball start. Offense. Still third down.
They had a crossing action with the backs and really held the line, and they were able to break the receiver, Sorensen, deep.
Hayes again. This time drop play up the middle. 23 that time. Nice move that time, but a pretty good job of recovery. That was Backman again, John Backman, number 23, on the draw play. Reynolds really wasn't fooled. They had a lot of cushion to give in that situation with third down and long yardage, about 13. And so now it'll be fourth down and about 6 to go, 4th and 6 on the Reynolds, about the 46-yard line. And it looks like Crook County again. Hayes will be back to punt. All-purpose player, their quarterback as well as their punter. And Budge is back along with number 23. That's Peter Taylor. Pretty good punt that time by Hayes, and Budge takes the ball, and Fair catches the ball right there at the 13-yard line. So it'll be first down, and I think that's, the 17-yard line. That's the same place that Reynolds took over the first time. So again, they take over on the 17, and we'll see whether or not they can move the ball a little bit better this time. Maroney again comes in at quarterback. They're probably operating out of their split backs.
They've got to make a first down, Jim, to really kind of break the water here a little bit, get themselves loosened up and some confidence.
Ben Clark running back. Option out this way. Maroney just stuffed at the line of scrimmage. Number 28 that time, able to come up. Gabe Dunaway from Crook County. came up and just stuffed that play right at the line of scrimmage. Didn't even have time to read. Normally on that option, Jerry, you'll read that end and try to option off of him. And that time he didn't have a chance because Dunaway was right in Maroney's face immediately.
And Kevin Thompson did an outstanding job too, Coach. He penetrated and really helped bottom up Maroney on that option play.
Again, Maroney at quarterback. Selby split right. Landry in the slot left. Landry in motion. Option right. Maroney trying to turn it up. That time he made a quick decision to turn it up, and it looked like there might have been a little room on the outside of Landry going around to the right in motion, but out of the slot back or the wing back spot, but really no time at all whatsoever. That defensive line from Crook County is in there immediately as soon as Maroney takes a step.
They're playing almost a 9-man front. They've got a lot of people up there, at least an 8-man, and they're rolling those cornerbacks up pretty tight. They may have to just throw the ball if they get in field position to loosen them up.
Slot left, Maroney back to pass, looking. Oh, and that was for Kirk Budge, and read very, very well, intercepted by number 31 that time. That was David Pace on the interception, and Pace with a great interception. It looked like there was just a mix-up in the timing as Maroney threw. Budge was still in the middle of his pattern. Let's take a look at this on the replay, and you'll see here that excellent read by Pace from Crook County.
I think the ball actually hit the receiver and kind of bounced off of him into the Crook County
We'll try to get that replay here in just a moment. Hayes up, brings him up again.
There's a blast play up the middle.
John Backman again, straight up the middle. That was just straight power football that time, Jerry. They just led in with the first back and just kept coming right at him. And it looks like maybe they're going to try to get a little bit more conservative and try to establish their ground game at this point. So it'll be second down now and 7. On the Reynolds 19. Tough break on that interception now. Gives great field position to the Crook County Cowboys. Back to passes Hayes.
Oh, good penetration.
Scrambles out, gets around. And
real fine job by Hayes, Jim. He had people all around him, and he darted here and there and got himself loose.
Boy, that was a great play. That time Hayes dropped back, looking for the receiver downfield. All receivers covered, and Reynolds with great pressure on the quarterback, and Hayes able to scramble out and get about a 5-yard gain on that. So it's third down and 1. And the Crook County Cowboys, 3rd and 1 at the Reynolds 13-yard line. With 3:50 to go here in the first quarter. Hayes hands off to Backman again. Or, excuse me, that's Dunaway. Dunaway stuffed at the line of scrimmage. He'll be close to the first down. Looks like maybe Reynolds was able to hold him on that one, and it's going to be 4th down. It's going to be 4th and short. Crucial play early in the game, possibly here, Jerry, in that Reynolds needs to get some momentum and some spark someplace. And if they could stuff him right here and stop the Crook County drive after that quick turnover, it would be a real lift for Reynolds.
I'm sure it will, Jim. They need to just have something good happen to them. They've been backed up against their own goal.
Split right is Aaron Dickinson. Hayes at quarterback, slot right. Straight up the middle.
Oh,
Backman that time.
Fine surge by that triangle, that Crook County line. They came out of there and just overpowered Reynolds' defensive line that time.
Well, that time they were all back about 3 yards. The Reynolds linemen, they were pushed back completely, and as you said, Jerry, an excellent surge by the offensive line. A quick count, went up there, and Backman just followed his lineman. Hayes just gave it to him. Just a straight dive play, really. Just straight up the middle and just follow his lineman.
Always nice to run that ball, Jim, when you've got a line that's getting off the ball.
There we see the tonight's officials. Referee is Pete Johnson, umpire Jim Brown, linesman Mike Pinder, and judge Bruce Etling. Gentlemen out tonight, and you got to give officials credit too. They've been out working a lot of scrimmages, getting themselves ready for the season as well. Hayes again at quarterback, back to pass, looks downfield. Number 5.
Yes, very nice.
Brian Peterson coming out and intercepted in the end zone by Brian Peterson. That pass was intended for number 5, Joshua Love, but Brian Peterson stepped in front and did an excellent job of intercepting the ball and bringing it back to about the 12-yard line. So turnabout is fair play as the Reynolds Raiders intercept this time and pick up their 3rd possession of the night, hoping that, again, that they can put together some type of a consistent drive. Michael Maroney again at quarterback, number 13. In the backfield with him is number 35. Jason Rome now, along with number 32. Brent Dupree. Okay, Warren Landry comes around. Oh, boy, what a vicious hit. That was number 61 from Kevin Thompson from Crook County. Just a perfect form tackle as they came around that time. They tried to run a little bit of a counterplay with the wingback, and Landry just face up and nail.
A fine effort by Kevin Thompson. He's playing a fine game out there. He's a tough fellow, and the timing on that play was a little bit off, Jim. You saw that actually the quarterback had to wait until that counterman was able to get to him.
Again, Maroney at quarterback. Backfield is Rome. And handoff to Rome that time, straight up the middle. Rome spinning.
Good.
Going for every yard that time. Looks like he's going to pick up about 5 or 6 yards on the play, and it'll be probably 3rd down and about 2 now. 3rd down and 2. Good effort by Rome, the number 3 rusher last year in the Mount Hood Conference for Reynolds High School last year. And obviously looking forward to a great year coming back. Jason Rome was behind John Sandstrom and Matt Jones of Central Catholic in the rushing category last year in the Mount Hood Conference. Maroney at quarterback, Landry in motion. To the ball that time, number 32 spinning, and it looks like they have their first down. That's Brent Dupuis. Brent Dupuis. Got to work on that name. But Dupuis that time able to squirm for the first down. Ball at the 23-yard line, and it will be first down, and that's the first down for the Reynolds Raiders. To make note, with 55 seconds to go in the first quarter, the Raiders finally get their first down, and they will be on the march again. 45 seconds to go now in the first quarter, and split left, number 81. That's Jordan Wiggins. Landry in the slot right. He goes in motion. Again, around. Landry gets outside this time, and he's knocked out of bounds, but able to break a tackle in the backfield and able to get outside. But we do have a flag on the play back, and it looks like it might be an illegal block, either a clip, and it is a clipping penalty against the Raiders. That's going to be a tough penalty because that'll be half the distance, or well, yeah, it'll be half the distance from the 23. And unfortunately, that was one of the better counters that they've run tonight. The timing was a little bit better, and Landry made a great move in the backfield, able to break a tackle and get around the corner. And of course, that's a key thing in any option or any counter like that. You want to be able to get around that corner. He
got around. He was kind of hidden by big Brian Peterson there, and he was able to, I think, turn the corner because no one saw him. It was a good little effort on his part, but Neil Black came over from his safety position and put the stopper on him, or he might have got quite a few more yards out of it, but it's all for naught.
Clipping on the offense. Replay first down.
So it will be first down, and this time 23 from their own 9-yard line. 31 seconds to go here in the first quarter. Reynolds Raiders with the ball. Michael Maroney at quarterback. Backfield. Rome looking for the quick pass out to Budge. Kirk Budge on his quick screen. Budge able to turn it up the sideline and stuffed out of bounds about the 20-yard line. Number 17 came up to make a great hit. Neil Black again.
Troy Danielson that time made a fine block, coach, to spring Budge for a few more yards. Troy's a big kid and a senior, and I think he's finally getting into the game a little more. There's some good line play out there. It's kind of exciting to see that line play. Those guys, those kids down in there worked hard. Those big guys are hitting hard, and there's some excellent blocking being done, and the defense is breaking down the blocks. There's some good fundamentals that we've seen.
Selby split left, Peterson right. Maroney at quarterback, back to pass. Looking over here for Selby. Nice catch by Selby. Excellent catch that time. Nice little turnout route. And Maroney under pressure, able to keep his poise and find the man on the outside. Evan Selby that time.
Very close to a first down, Jim. I think it's a little short, but it's close.
And they are going to measure on that and check it and see with 24 seconds to go here in the first quarter. Still a 0-0 ball game. Neither team able to penetrate. Crook County actually had the deepest penetration, but an interception by Brian Peterson in the end zone stopped that drive, and Reynolds now is on the ensuing march right now, able to get their first down, and they're looking for their second one right here. See over on side, and it is a first down. So we have the Reynolds Raiders with first down, 10 yards to go on approximately the 32-yard line. It will be 1st and 10.
That was a fine catch by Selby, Jim. Do you see him get up in the air?
Yeah, he was able to block off the defender with his body and come down with that ball, and he was crunched pretty good when he caught it.
He really was, and he hung on to that. Really a good reception.
In the backfield is Dupuis and Rome. Maroney at quarterback, Landry in the slot. And Rome straight up the middle, and Rome fighting and scratching for every yard. And of course, last year that was a very familiar sight for the Reynolds Lancers of last year, the Reynolds High School team that Rome played fullback, and that's how he amassed his third leading rushing yardage in the Mount Hood Conference. And we come to the end of the first quarter now with the score: the Reynolds Raiders 0 and the Crook County Cowboys 0. And we'll be back right after this.
Wanting to call him Prineville.
There was this guy, a nationally known sports hero. And then I got busted. As a result of my lust for cocaine, I bypassed high and went straight to messed up. I mean, zoom, there was no stopping. Some of you know exactly what I'm talking about because you're taking the exact same ride. A phone call could help you. It took prison to help me.
Call 1-800-662-HELP.
Back to Mount Hood Community College, beginning of the second quarter now with the Reynolds Raiders, 2nd and 8 right now. Hand off to Landry on the counter play, coming around, and he stopped for about a 1-yard gain, so it looks like it's going to be about 3rd and probably 7. And Crook County, Jerry, you were mentioning really tough up front. Their kids, although they were somewhat inexperienced coming into the ballgame, they have really played a fine game up front.
They have, Jim, and their fundamentals, I'm impressed with their fundamentals. They're hitting, they're striking hard, and getting off their blocks and just plugging up just about every hole that Reynolds is trying to make in between tackles.
Peterson split right, Landry in the slot, Maroney quarterback. Maroney rolls right, evades the tackler, cuts it up.
Oh, he's going, Jim. He's going.
Great job, Maroney, able to cut back against the grain. Crook County that time totally overrushed. I mean, they had the good rush on the passer. They were in the backfield, but Maroney with just great athletic ability able to avoid him. And once he broke that front line, he was off to the races.
Michael's not really too fast, but he did pick his spots and was able to pick up a good gainer.
First down and 10 for the Reynolds Raiders at the Crook County 45-yard line. The first penetration by the Reynolds Raiders into the Crook County territory. It's a chance now for Reynolds really to try to establish their offense. Maroney again, Alandria in motion. Pitch to Alandria outside. And there we see again that quickness. Geez, that was a great job that time by number 69 getting out there. That was Mike Ford, who able to get outside. He started inside, Jerry, and then able to get out and pick up that pitch man. Really had to have some quickness to be able to do that.
They really are reading the play, Jim, and they're getting off their blocks and they're pursuing. If you'll notice, there's always 4 or 5 people that are right over there on that tackle. I really am impressed with Prineville's line play and the way they go to the ball. They're stacked up in there pretty tight. I think Reynolds may just have to loosen them up a little more with throwing the ball. They've been relatively successful so far.
82, Evan Selby split left, Alandria slot right, and Alandria in motion. And it looks like, we're going to have a motion penalty, illegal procedure on that play. Alandria just jumping the gun a little bit. Notice that on that wing batter, the slot back in their offensive scheme actually sets it at an angle, trying to get that extra half a step when he wants to run the counter or go around to the other side. And that time he went straight up field and missed the count a little bit, so it will be a 5-yard penalty against the Reynolds Raiders. So that'll make it second down still and 15 from the 50-yard line. Listen to referee Pete Johnson.
Ball start, offense.
And it will be second down and 15. Maroney brings them up again. Rome in the backfield. Landry in motion. Comes right, Maroney back to pass, looking over the middle, and intercepted
Oh,
by
it's intercepted. He's open.
number 50.
Oh, he's caught.
Number 50 that time, intercepted by Jeremy Hansen. Looked like he was going for the tight end over the middle, Brian Peterson that time, but Hansen able to step in front and make the interception, but we do have a penalty on the play. Roughing the passer against Crook County, so that will nullify a great effort by Crook County, but really kind of a lifesaver for the Reynolds Raiders that time. Very fortunate that time because the ball was intercepted. Hansen did a great job of reading it.
That might have gone all the way. Troy Danielson reached out and just tripped up that boy, and of course a penalty changed the whole outlook of the play. But it looked like Prineville was going to be back with a long gainer on their interception return.
Goes just the opposite. Of course, big break now for Reynolds. Big penetration, deepest penetration of the night now. A major penalty, and we'll listen to Pete Johnson, the referee, give us the call.
Roughing the passer on the defense, automatic first down.
And there you heard it. First down on the 35-yard line for the Reynolds Raiders. And they're on the march now. They've had some breaks. Now they have to capitalize and take advantage of those breaks. Maroney at quarterback. In motion. Number 31 that time in motion for the Raiders was Jason Mowdy.
It appeared that the left tackle jumped offside there, Jim, for the Reynolds Raiders.
Again, they're really anxious right now, trying to get things going, and this is one thing that always can hurt you, and that's penalties. Big penalty that time against Crook County that hurt them, but they have to be very careful here not to have a little one go against Reynolds.
Dead ball, false start, offense, still first down.
Kevin Selby bringing the play in, number 82, as they run their wide receivers in with plays from the bench. Mike Shanahan and his staff. In the slot now is Jason Mowdy, number 31, split right, Brian Peterson. Maroney back to pass, looking. Again, pressure and tremendous pressure, number 28. That was Dunaway in there. No one touched him at all, Jerry. He had a free run at Maroney, and Maroney turned around and had 28 staring right in his face and able to get the ball away so he wasn't sacked, but tough pressure that time.
They ran a little stunt over there, and it wasn't picked up, and he was able to penetrate, and like you say, Maroney had to throw that ball long before he really wanted to.
There we see some of the Raiders on the sideline anxious to get in, and again, a group of receivers there with whom they run their plays in. Ryan Peterson, split right. In the slot is Jason Mowdy to the right. Maroney drops back to pass, looks downfield, and
I'll tell you,
looking
that's
for a
awesome.
Screen. That was Dunaway again.
He is really reading that play. He blitzed just before that, put the pressure on Maroney, made him throw the ball long before he wanted to, and this time he started a blitz. He saw that the receiver was starting to leak out to the left, and he went with him and bottled that play, just stopped it cold, Jim. Just outstanding effort by that.
Dunaway almost had the interception on that as he picked up, as you said, Jason Rome going out into the flat and actually kind of a delayed screen. And so it will be third down now and 15 yards to go for the Reynolds Raiders. Ball on the Crook County 40-yard line, and they need to generate something here. They've kind of been stymied for the last few minutes. Maroney again at quarterback. In motion is Mowdy. Maroney trying to get outside on the option with Mowdy, but unable to do so. Great penetration again, right up the middle. And Dunaway, from his position, his linebacking position, has been able to pretty much penetrate as he sees fit. The offensive line has not been able to get to him at the linebacking spot. The defensive line has done a good job of keeping the offensive line off of their linebackers. Back to punt, Joe Simmons. Deep is number 31, David Pace, along with Keitlinger. Simmons, low line drive punt. 31 going around, David Pace. David Pace, and a great tackle that time by Selby. Selby gets downfield and able to trip up Pace as he tries to get outside. So put him back in the hole a little bit on the 15-yard line. It will be Crook County's ball, but Reynolds able to back him up a little bit. Reynolds got to be a little frustrated right now, Jerry, in that they really haven't been able to put together a consistent group of plays. They've had some great individual efforts, but they haven't been able to put together anything consistently.
That's exactly right. I think they thought they were going to be able to handle Crook County's line a little better than they have, and they just haven't been able to do it.
Hayes
There's the counter.
on the counter. That's inside. That's number 44 for the Crook County Cowboys. That's Trevor Hoskinson. Nice little counter that time. That really opened up. We had a perfect angle over here, and we could see it open up as they kicked out on the defensive end. And very nice play that time, and a pickup of about 6 yards. So it's second down and a short 4, long 5. Short 5, long 4. And Hayes fumble on the play, fumble on the play, and it looks like the Raiders have. They did get in, and they did get it. Number 87 that time, Daniel Maroney. Michael's older brother, able to get in and recover that, and a big break for the Reynolds Raiders.
That is, and I think that Prineville was just kind of starting to feel good about being able to move the ball. They start off with that counter, and they got a good chunk of yardage, and I think they were starting to gain some confidence. That could really hurt them.
Great job that time by Daniel Maroney, able to get in and get the fumble that time. So again, they come up. Michael Maroney now at quarterback. Gets the ball to Rome up the middle. A quick hitter off tackle that time, and Rome able to bust through and pick up about 5 yards on the play.
Jim, Crook County's line was pinching that time, and the outside man on that hole did not get down in. There was a fine block by the offensive tackle that kept him to the outside, and it really made a nice opening for him in there. You know, Crook County early in the season this year was rated number 6, Jim. So they're not a slouch team. They're a good team.
Tight formation. Landry slot left. Maroney hands off again to Rome. Looks like they're just going down to good old home football. Just straight ahead power football that time. Giving it to Rome up the middle, and Rome files down. Gets about 4 more yards on the play, so it's going to be 3rd down and 1. 3rd down and 1. The ball on the 5-yard line now of the Crook County Cowboys, and Reynolds on the march. I think they can taste the end zone now, and the feeling, I'm sure, is that we're going to stick to some basics here and probably try to just jam the ball in. They're running out of a tight set. Both ends are tight. Budge tight left, or tight right. Peterson tight left. Landry in the slot, comes in motion. And that time, good penetration, however, by Crook County. Boy, I tell you, he had a decision to make as he attempted to hand it off to Rome right there, and there were about 3 white shirts all over him, and Michael Maroney did not have much choice but just to bite down hard and try to get what he could. So a loss of 2 on the play, so it'll be 4th and 3 now.
Jeremy Hansen blitzed on that, Jim, and ended up right in the hole. And so he stopped it. He stopped the timing on the fake of the dive man, and made Maroney back up, and he was unable to even halfway turn the corner.
It looks like, well, the Raiders have taken a timeout now, and as we see, Steve Reyes comes into the football game, number 86, and it looks like he will be attempting from about the 14-yard line a 24-yard field goal for the Reynolds Raiders. And number 10 holding will be Brian Heath, backup quarterback. A little bit of confusion right now on the sideline. We see the Crook County huddle there, and they've got to be pleased, but they've also got to be a little bit frustrated in terms of what they're doing. There was a penalty thrown there. I'm not sure what that was on the sideline, but there was a penalty thrown, a flag thrown, and there is some discussion by the officials now, so we'll have to see what is going on. Looks like I'm not sure what it was. We'll get the call from referee Pete Johnson here in just a moment, but any penalty at this point really kind of backs you up a little bit. You're down there and you've got a chance to kick a 24-yard field goal. Ball will be spotted on the 14, and all of a sudden it looks like there might be a possibility that there's going to be an additional penalty, and so some additional yardage. And it is here. 5 yards. Let's listen to Pete Johnson, the referee, and see what he has to say on that.
Red ball, illegal substitution, offense.
I'm not too sure what that was, Jim. I know that the official on the sideline was trying to explain something to the Raiders coaches, and they were very disagreeable.
Looks like
So it had to be just a questionable thing.
another timeout being called now by the Raiders. A little bit of confusion now. And of course, this is what preseason is all about. And that's one thing, we might talk a little bit about the Mount Hood Conference schedule. And with the consolidation of the two high schools in the Reynolds district, Columbia and Reynolds High School, the Mount Hood Conference now has a situation where they can play a full slate of games for 7 weeks, and they can have their first 2 weeks be all non-conference games. And of course, tonight we see a full slate of 8 games in the Mount Hood Conference, all against non-conference opponents. So really an advantage, actually, for kind of to hang out the wash a little bit and see how things are before you actually jump into league play.
Yeah, it is, Jim. Most coaches, of course, they want to win this ball game, but they also want to get a lot of players in and give some playing time to as many boys as they can, so they can get that second backup group and maybe 3 deep on the line, and really find out what these boys can do in the heat of battle.
There we see the Raider cheerleaders. And of course, a lot of enthusiasm in the Raider camp this year with the consolidation and a lot of new things happening, and just a lot of people involved right now. And of course, a huge student body, close to 1,800 kids. And we see Ray's number 86 now back to attempt a field goal. Brian Heath holding, and the ball will be spotted down on approximately the 19-yard line. So it'll be a 29-yard field goal. Bobbled a little bit, but Rays gets a lot of foot into the ball. Gee,
Looks good.
Boy, that was a heck of a thump by Rays.
Brian Heath had a little trouble with that snap, but still got it down, and a real fine kick. Real fine.
That was an excellent job. With 5:52 to go, we see our score there, 3-0 in favor of the Reynolds Raiders. And the first points on the board tonight for the season for the Reynolds Raiders and for the new Reynolds Raiders football team. So the ice has been broken. Maybe this now will get the tide rolling and give them an opportunity to start doing some other things. I know they went pretty much back to basic football there, had a few penalties, and a little bit of frustration, but I'll tell you, the foot of Steve Rays that time really brought it home. And
so far, Jim, the ball game really has been the line. The line, like Reynolds got down into the deep into Crook County territory, and they ran that ball, tried to run that ball at big Jim Layton there, and they just couldn't run it 3 times in a row. They hit him twice, but the third time he stopped it.
With about 5:52 to go here in the second quarter, the Reynolds Raiders, as you see, leading 3-0. Steve Rays to kick off. Back is number 31, David Pace, along with Jay Keitlinger. Rays approaches the ball, thumps it away, low liner. Keitlinger taking the ball again. They move around, and it is a reverse this time. Coming to Pace. Pace, one man to beat on the outside. He's got a lane up the side if he can do it. And Pace struggles, but hanging on was number 24,
Little Budge.
Kirk Budge.
Kirk Budge, I'll tell you, Jim, he's about the size of a grasshopper, but he was hanging on for dear life and saved a lot of yardage there.
Boy, they had that set up really nice on this side. There was one man to beat, and Pace able to shake away from the tackle, got to the outside and moved the ball up to about the 37, 38-yard line, so it'll be first down and 10 for the Crook County Cowboys. Hayes, the quarterback, come out. They're in a slot right, eye backs this time. Handoff. This is Dunaway up the middle, and Dunaway with a great run. Breaks one tackle at about 6 yards and then just runs over the defender, Brian Peterson. Peterson able to drag him down for about 11-yard gain, and it will be first down for the Crook County Cowboys as they come back, and maybe the sleeping dog has awakened for the Crook County Cowboys as well. Maybe they realize now, hey, we got to get our hats strapped on tight and get out there and play some.
John Backman, the fullback, made an outstanding block. He led up into the hole and really took the linebacker out.
That time it's Backman carrying the ball, and just straight power surge. There was no lead back or anything, just a straight handoff to Backman, and he got in behind those linemen and just followed them for about a 3-4 yard gain, and it will be second down and 7 now.
I'm not too sure if maybe Gabe Dunaway might have not run his correct route that time, Jim. He was running right along on the hip of Dunaway.
Hayes at quarterback, slot right, split backs this time.
There's
Inside
a counter. There's a counter.
Counter 31 comes out to the outside and breaks the tackle. Getting around, that's Pace to the outside and pushed out of bounds by Brian Peterson. David Pace with a great job on the counter play. Very fine job. able to beat the one outside defender who had containment, and once he was able to break that tackle, maybe we'll have a chance to watch this on replay, but a great job that time by Pace of breaking the tackle. Here we see it right here. We see him coming right at you. Number 31 coming down, breaking the tackle on the outside, unable to make that tackle, and Peterson able just to push him out of bounds, and had it not been for Peterson, it would have been 6 points for the Cowboys. Hayes again a quarterback out of the I set. This time they give to the second back through. It's Dunaway. Dunaway, the tailback, taking the ball, getting about a 4-yard gain. So Crook County looks a little bit more inspired now, Jerry.
They do, and the lead blocker on that counter play a moment ago did just a most fundamental block I've seen tonight. He came over and kicked that end out and made a huge wide hole in there for that counterback to come through.
Hayes a quarterback again out of the I set, slot right. Gives to Dunaway.
72, there he is, there he is. Nice effort by Jason Osborne.
Osborne able to come up and read that play. Really not much deception on that play, and Osborne just able to break the tackle and came through completely untouched and dropped him for about a 2-yard loss that time. So it'll be 3rd down and 9 now. 3rd and 9 from the 26-yard line now. Crook County in possession. 3:30 to go here in the second quarter. Reynolds Raiders leading 3-0. Hayes a quarterback, slot right out of the I formation. Drops back to pass, looking downfield, and a little bit of pressure.
Could be intercepted. Oh, no. I thought Brian Peterson was going to get over there, but that ball was thrown a little more to the outside.
Well, they actually, good pressure that time, forced him to throw probably a little bit before, but had he waited, as you said, Brian Peterson, the free safety, was just hanging back there, and he could have picked that one. But good pressure that time by the up front people from Reynolds.
Hayes did a good job getting rid of the ball, Jim. He, I think he felt that pressure, and he could have been sacked, but he did, almost a college or a pro-like thinking there and throwing that ball out there.
Well, of course, when you throw it to the outside like that, you take away the opportunity for the interception. Had it been intercepted, it would have been out of bounds. We have an equipment timeout on the field right now. And it looks like Crook County is going to take their full timeout now, and Coach Sean Murray is going to come out and talk it over with his people, realizing that they also now are kind of in a crucial situation. They were pretty much moving, a lot of momentum, moving at will down the field, and then all of a sudden they got stuffed a couple times in a couple good plays. Jason Osborne with a real fine play. All of a sudden now they're looking at 4th and 9, and they've got to try to generate something with Reynolds leading 3-0. We're going to take a break right now, and then we'll be back with the remainder of the second quarter action right after this.
You know, the world's changed a lot since I went to this high school. It's a faster track with a lot more competition. But over 50 million people have a hard time competing in today's job market because they've given themselves a handicap. They didn't finish high school.
Hey, look who's here. Hey, Ed.
If you're thinking about quitting school, this free booklet will give you some good reasons for staying in. It's called The High Cost of Dropping Out.
For your copy, call this toll-free number.
Don't start your future with a handicap.
All right.
We're back. We're back at Mount Hood Community College with 3:17 to go in the second quarter. The Reynolds Raiders leading 3-0 over the Crook County Cowboys. Crook County with a 4th and 9 now on the 26-yard line of the Raiders. Looks like they're going to go for it as they're in a slot right. Hayes at quarterback. And we have a penalty on the play. Sure, we had thrown by the referee in the backfield. Looks like we had a delay of game.
Too much time, Jim.
Too much time. Delay of game, so that'll march him back even further, and that's going to be tough now because that's going to be 4th and about 14 now.
Dead ball, delay a game, offense, still 4th down.
4th and 14 from the 31-yard line of Reynolds, and Crook County again with penetration, but they've been able to penetrate, but the Reynolds Raiders defense has not broken. It's bent a great deal, but it has yet to be broken.
That's a bad break to get a penalty there, Jim. They might have been able to pick up the first down, but now it's a little tougher.
Hayes drops back, looks inside, and
fine catch by that young man.
Number 44, Trevor Hoskinson.
Oh yes, that was a big-time catch, Jim. He reached up with one hand, grabbed that ball, brought it back into his body, and kept his balance and And the tackler was right there, too.
Hoskinson, a great job. He ran out of the slot back formation there, slot back position, and just slipped out of the backfield. A little confusion now by Reynolds. A lot of folks running on the field, off the field. Some people, looks like we probably will have a penalty on the play. Pace coming to the outside, tries to turn up, but lots of confusion by the Reynolds Raiders, and the referee was reaching for a flag, but I'm not sure whether he got it thrown or not.
I think he did, Jim, and that might have been a free play.
No, they did. He said that they were off the field.
They were far enough out, even though they were not quite off the field. They were making an effort to get off the field, and they were just a step or two away from the sideline, and so he felt that in his decision-making, felt that was appropriate.
Ball on the 9-yard line, 2nd and 8 now for the Crook County Cowboys. Hayes at quarterback, gives to Dunaway.
Nice
Good
job
penetration,
again.
number 31, that was Jason Mowdy, coming up quickly and dropping in the backfield. Number 23, running the ball was John Backman that time, but a great job by Mowdy. Good penetration and a quick tackle that time.
Defensive coach Mark Ferris has said he's going to do a lot of studying, and it appears that that's what he's doing. The Crook County line opened a nice hole, but the linebacker had stunted into it and made the stop. Good job by Mowdy.
Hayes, a quarterback out of the I formation. Here we go.
Again, a stunt, coach, a stunt. And Todd Strickland shot through there and made that stop.
Excellent job by Strickland. Also Daniel Maroney back there, 87, to help as well. But Hayes really stymied. Now they're right back to where they were before. Basically, they're at about the 18-yard line, and it's about 4th and 18. So coming in with the play is number 1, Aaron Dickinson.
We might see that.
Cowboys.
We might see that pass to that tight end only on this side of the field this time, Coach. That was a good gainer for him. They've got the tight end to this side, number 88. There he is, Sorensen.
Hayes at quarterback, out of the split backs this time. Hayes drops back, looks downfield.
He's looking for him.
Intercepted in the middle, number 72.
Oh.
That was for the Reynolds Raiders.
Jason
Osborne again, having a great ball game. Number 72, Jason Osborne, steps in front and drops back and makes the big interception. So another big play. Osborne able to stymie him on their first opportunity that they had. And Osborne again comes back, and this time, rather than tackling, he comes back with a big interception. We'll take a look at it here as we, on the replay. Great job. Hayes back inside. Man actually was open, but Osborne stepped in front and able to make a great interception that time.
Coach, that was that same play, only he picked a different receiver. The tight end was open. Sorensen was open, but he thought they better go to another receiver, and it turned out bad.
Straight ahead play, looks like up the middle for the Raiders. Roney getting at quarterback with about 35 seconds to go now. They're probably just going to run the clock down and be very patient and have to probably run one more play. And
I think
as we go into halftime here, Raiders content to take their 3-0 lead into the half. Roney at quarterback. They run out of tight formation. Landry in the slot. Probably just give straight ahead. Let the clock run out. Give the ball straight ahead to Rome. Rome breaks outside, however, and able to pick up a few yards. He almost broke it. It looked like Crook County was relaxing a little bit, thought they were maybe just going to take an easy play, but Rome with a good job spins off the tackle and gets a chunk of yardage there. But that's the end of the first half with the Reynolds Raiders now leading 3-0 as a result of a 29-yard field goal by Steve Rays in the second quarter. The Reynolds Raiders 3-0 over Crook County, and Jerry, it's been an interesting first half so far. Really, two teams actually kind of feeling each other out, but I think that it's the type of thing where both coaches have some frustrations, but I'm sure they have a lot to say to their players at halftime as well. We're going to take a break, and then we'll come back with some halftime highlights and some more information right after this.
All right.
Hey, Keith, come on. Gotta go.
See you later.
What's up?
Not much.
Thought you had a job.
No, it's harder than I thought.
So come back to school.
It's too late.
It's not too late. Look, I know this guy who had trouble reading. Dropped out in the 8th grade. Came back 20 years later.
Who is that?
Hey, Tom, come on. Get a move on.
My dad. Look, if he can do it, you can do it.
Find out about getting your GED today.
We're here at halftime with the Reynolds Raiders leading 3-0 over the Crook County Cowboys. And Jerry, let's take a look at the Mount Hood Conference. What we have this year is 5 strong teams and 3 other teams who are going to be in the hunt, but probably not quite as strong as the other ones.
I think you're right, Jim. We're looking at Barlow and David Douglas and kind of some of those, and Gresham, some of those that have been perennial type of powers in this league for years. They're going to be back again. And the smaller schools like Sandy, Sandy may have a long year this year, Jim. I'm hoping to see some more consistency in the league as the year goes along. I think that some of the teams that have been down have strengthened a little bit, and naturally we know that Reynolds has doubled their population and definitely are going to start turning out some real quality ball clubs.
Well, I think overall the general consensus of the league is that Gresham probably is the #1 team. They're ranked 10th right now in the state, and they're probably the main team to beat. David Douglas, with their whole starting backfield, probably the #2 in terms of ranking preseason-wise. Reynolds, a lot of people feel is going to be right in there, probably around #3. Then come Barlow and Central Catholic, 2 teams that are perennially up there. They're tough, good, solid programs, but they lost a lot in graduation, and I think those 2 teams will probably be right in there in the fight. So there's your 5 have teams. The other team, Centennial, is really a team that possibly could break through this year. Coach Knutson has done a good job developing that program, but they're still numbers shy a little bit, and so Centennial's kind of in the gray area there. And then you come with Park Rose and Sandy, and those 8 teams that make up the Mount Hood Conference. Great conference, you know, tough games every week for people to look at, and the schedule is really going to be one of the determining factors down the road.
It really is. You know, Centennial can come along and knock somebody off. They have that type of spirit, that type of tradition that they oftentimes will upset a #1 team, and there again oftentimes have faltered against the lower team, unfortunately. But they're an upset team, but there definitely is a tendency to have those 4 or 5 that are generally there on top back again.
Well, we feel real fortunate that we're going to have the opportunity to carry every one of the teams in the Mount Hood Conference this year. Obviously, some will be on camera a little bit more often than others, but the opportunity for you people to see all of the teams in the Mount Hood Conference will really be a treat, because there really is some great football played here in the Mount Hood Conference, and we look forward to bringing that to you each and every week. We're going to take a break now, and then we'll be back with second half action right after this.
Now listen up, this here's a story about a reformed good old boy named Junior, formerly a beer-guzzling guy who had a hankering for Miss Myrtle May. She learned a trick I wish more knew, work like falling from a tree. When old Junior drink one for the road, well, she'd snitch his set of keys. Now Junior's not alone, I find all my boys ride, and I tell them when they've had too much, good old boys don't drink and drive. You hear me talking to you, boy?
Welcome back to second half action at Mount Hood Community College on the Mount Hood Conference 1989 football, and the Reynolds Raiders leading the Crook County Cowboys 3-0. Reynolds had won the toss at the beginning of the game. They deferred to make their choice until the second half, so they will be receiving in the second half. They leading 3-0, and Jerry, up to this point, probably not quite as much scoring as both coaches, I think, had anticipated with the youth that was present on both defenses. Let's take a look very quickly here at the AP poll in the first week. We can see that Canby, next week's Reynolds opponent, right here at Mount Hood Community College, is ranked #1, #2 Roseburg, 3 Benson, 4 Ashland, 5 Lebanon, 6 Hillsboro, and #7 Lake Ridge, 8 Thurston, 9 North Salem, and #10 the Gresham Gophers, who tonight are entertaining Lake Ridge High School over at Gresham High School. So a lot of key games, non-conference opponents for the Mount Hood Conference. Kicking will be #1 Aaron Dickinson for the Crook County Cowboys. And back, that's number 32 deep for the Reynolds Raiders.
That's
is Tom Jackson. Excuse me, Brent Dupuy.
Yeah.
Brent Dupuy. And Crook County really, as you said earlier, Jerry, their fundamentals are outstanding. You know, on the kicking game and those types of things, they got down and covered that kickoff extremely well. It was a good kick, good and deep, but great coverage by the Crook County Cowboys.
They really have done. You know, they're playing a lot of boys both ways, Jim. And And the boys that are playing are real football players. They can handle both the offensive side and the defensive side of the line.
Michael Maroney at quarterback. Split backs this time. Slot to the right, Warren Alandria. Straight ahead give this time. That's Jason Romes. Jason Romes breaks outside off tackle and into the defensive backfield with a big gain, about 15 yards on the carry that time. And Jason Romes gets a first down right off the bat for the Reynolds Raiders as they move the ball up to the 37-yard line, their own 37-yard line, and it'll be first down.
Crook County was in just a straight 5-2, Jim. No stunts. They just straight charge, and that time they were able to open that hole right over the right tackle and got some good yardage. Rome runs that ball hard.
Reynolds Raiders in a tight formation again. Orlando in the slot again this time. Rome with the carry. A little bit of a crossing action in the backfield that time, and Rome stopped at the line of scrimmage for a gain of about 1 on the play, but it looks like up to this point, the first 2 plays anyway, the Raiders have basically gone with just guts football in terms of pulling both their ends in tight, and Landry is still at the slot back, but they pretty much are going with just tight football and power football. They're going to see whether or not Crook County can stop them. This time, however, Selby splits right. Landra in the slot to the left. Split backs. Maroney at quarterback. Maroney this time gives to Rome again. Gives to Rome, and he was just pounded. But although he did sneak back, and actually it looked like he was going to be stopped for about a 3 or 4 yard loss, but he was able to get back and just lose about a half a yard on the play.
Mike Ford stunted from his nose guard position, Jim, right into the play. That front three, I can't say enough about that front three. Jim Layton, Mike Ford, Nathaniel Lovengruth, they are just really doing a fine job on that defensive line.
Crook County able to stop him. It's 3rd down and 8 now for the Reynolds Raiders. Again, they're in a tight formation. Landry in the slot. Maroney on a little counter to Landry. A fumble on the play.
Crook County has
fumble,
it, Jim.
and it looked like Crook County gets the first break of the second half. As they come up with a fumble, Landry, it didn't look like there was a clean exchange that time between Maroney and Landry on the counter play.
There's that Jim Layton again. He's all over the field. Big old tackle pounced on that fumble.
Boy, good job that time by Crook County, really to, first of all, diagnose a play, but to come up with a fumble. And, you know, they were concentrating so much on the penetration that time to be able to react back, as you said, late, and able to react back and get the fumble. That was quite an athletic move on his part. Kevin Hayes brings him up now. He's at quarterback, number 10 for the Cowboys. Split backs this time. Gives to Dunaway. Dunaway breaks one tackle. Another one. A spin.
Look at him spin.
I'll tell you, he put about 4 moves on that time, Jerry, and he's able to pick up the first down with about a 13-yard carry. And now the ball will be spotted on the 30-yard line of the Reynolds Raiders, and Dunaway doing an outstanding job. He first had to break one in the backfield, then one at the line of scrimmage, and then one downfield, and he used 3 different moves on each occasion.
He just kept his legs churning, and he broke a couple of tackles, and it actually took 2 big men to bring him down.
Slot right. Out of the I-backs, Dunaway again.
Oh, he's got a good opening.
He's got some room out there. He made a nice cut that time. Made a nice cut. Boy, that time Backman, number 23, able to kick out. And number 50, that was their Jeremy Hansen, their guard, able to get out and lead the play. But as you said, Jerry, they had the block set up, and they did get the block. And again, another first down for the Crook County Cowboys. And they did this right towards the middle of the second quarter, and then they were kind of stymied as they got down. And now it'll be interesting to see whether or not they can carry through with the drive and punch it in.
I think this is what they want to do, Jim. They just want power football.
Split backs.
There's a little counter back in. Another trap play.
Another fumble. Another fumble on the inside. We'll see whether or not Crook County able to retain possession there. Good reaction by number 28, Dunaway, to get on the fumble.
That was a trap play, Coach, and what happened there was the fact that Coach Ferris had his boys stunting, and the trapping guard was not able to get a piece of the stunt man, and he was right there bottling it up.
Number 1, Aaron Dickinson, splits right. In the slot, number 44, Trevor Hoskinson, out of the I-backs. Back to pass. Hayes And he finds
tight end.
Hoskinson. There's that out of that slot position.
Oh, no, that was a slot man.
That was a slot when Hoskinson, that play that we saw earlier for an 18-yard gain, he got him a first down. That time they used the same play again, and Hoskinson really did a nice job of just sliding out behind the linebackers. And Hayes, really a good recognition. Well, he zapped that ball right in there.
He did, Jim. He hit that man right on the numbers on full run, and he really was not very well covered. He slipped out there pretty quick.
So it'll be first down and goal now on about the 1-yard line. Straight ahead, just power football.
And he's in.
Power football. Number 23, that's Backman. Backman carrying the ball over and just straight power football. Boy, they just lined up and said, try to stop us. And
great surge again, Jim. Great surge by that
Crook County really
line.
came out, Jerry, and they are fired up. They are doing some things. Let's take a look now at this on the replay, the touchdown. Just a real power surge, as you mentioned, Jerry, with the offensive line. You see about 4 white jerseys. He's just following the white jerseys all the way into Pater at that time.
That made it, 23.
And number 1 will be Aaron Dickinson with the extra point attempt. It's up and waiting for the official indicates that it is good. It looked like it was a good kick. He really thumped the ball. And the score now was 7:42 here in the third quarter. The Crook County Cowboys 7 and the Reynolds Raiders 3. And Jerry, I think the one thing that the Reynolds Raiders have to be a little bit careful of is maybe a little overconfident. Even though they didn't move the ball as well as they'd like, they were ahead 3-0, thinking maybe they had a little bit of momentum going into the halftime, and Crook County certainly dispelled that very quickly.
For the exception of one play or 2 plays there where Reynolds actually stopped them out at the line of scrimmage, the Crook County line has taken over and pushed Reynolds back time and time again and have won the battle there in the trenches. They really get off the ball, and they look like you have said, Jim. They look like they're really eager, fired up, and they're going to say, hey, this is it. We're going to take it to them and play our kind of power football.
We might mention some key games, non-league games that are being played tonight. Reynolds, of course, playing Crook County, and Gresham and Lake Ridge. Gresham ranked number 10 in the state. Barlow playing Canby, the number 1 ranked team, and Canby will be here next week to play these same Reynolds Raiders at 8 o'clock because it is a doubleheader. And David Douglas tonight playing Oregon City. Kicking off is Aaron Dickinson receiving the ball.
That's prepared again.
Dupuy, and Dupuy stuffed again. I'll tell you, that Crook County has great coverage on their kicking game, and that's always something that you look at when you evaluate the discipline and the fundamental strength of any team. You look at their kicking game because those are the little things that oftentimes go unnoticed, and they certainly have a strong kicking game.
Yeah, the ball hung up in the air long enough for the coverage to get down and get in position and break down the blocks and stop the runner for really not much gain at all. Dupree didn't have much of a chance to run that ball.
Mike Maroney at quarterback again. Straight ahead. Oh,
there's
out
the pitch.
time.
There's the pitch.
Landry.
Oh,
nice job. Not quite able to get that block on the outside. That looked like it was...
Brett Peterson just slid off of that man. Had he made a good block out there, he was able to really get into that fellow, then there would have been some good yardage there.
Landry on the outside with a gain of about 5 on the play. Good job that time, really, by running that, bringing that wing back around. And Landry has had some off and on success tonight, but I'm sure that's going to be a key play for him. Again, both ends tight. Landry in the slot. Maroney gives straight ahead. Looks like it's Rome again.
There he is. There's that big Leighton kid again. He's right there. Big 66.
Rome on the carry. Gain of about 1 or 2 on the play. So it will be third down now, and looks like 3rd and 1. The Raiders really have to get something going right now. You know, they're a little bit frustrated on their first possession, and
they're going to have to make a good, strong drive. They don't seem to be making the long gainer, so they're going to have to get yardage on every play. Now, there's a good play, a very fine play. He's on the outside, Jim. He's open.
Here we go.
He may go. Oh.
And touchdown-saving tackle. That was Brent Dupuy again. Dupuy down the sideline. Good job by Maroney that time to get to the outside and force the defender to take him, and he's able to pitch out then to Dupuy, and Dupuy runs it down the sideline. Just an outstanding play that time.
Well,
And they'll have a first down now on the Crook County 23-yard line. It's just a super job. We see there, and just a game-saving or saving tackle by number 82, Mike Stanisic.
I just said that they were going to have to do some grinding and get some first downs. They had been getting some long gainers, and all of a sudden they break one.
Dupuis with a great run. Good burst of speed that time. Rome again, straight ahead, and a fumble.
Fumble.
Oh.
And it looks like Crook County.
Oh, that's really unfortunate for the Raiders because they had just really, you could see the spark come back to the kids on the sideline. They were really pumped up, ready to go, and it looked like a bad exchange between Maroney and Rome that time. And Crook County, ever present, again, those fundamental things. You look at giveaway takeaways, and Crook County right there jumping on that fumble, able to stop the Raider penetration.
That was a reverse pivot by the quarterback Maroney, and he didn't quite get around to get the ball to the fullback.
Hayes brings him up again. Slot right, out of the I formation. Give to Dunaway.
Oh, he ran right by him. They had a stunt on, and the linebacker ran right by the ball carrier.
Dunaway able to slip by that tackler, and as you mentioned, Mark Ferris attempting to run a lot of different stunts, and of course with a new group of kids, it's probably something where he is experimenting with some different things, but you know, they've done an excellent job and been able to step into those holes quite often tonight, but that time they were in the hole, but actually they're too quickly, and the ball carrier able to slip by. Dunaway.
I think Steve Rock was a blitzing linebacker on that. I think he was a little surprised he got in there so easily.
2nd and 7. Here's a counter play, and a good job. Boy, I'll tell you, they stunted right into that when there were 3 people. It looked like they had a slant on that time, and all 3 people were right in the path of Dunaway when he tried to come on the counter.
I'm a little surprised that we're seeing so much counter action, Coach. It doesn't seem like too many of the boys are leaving their positions. They're staying at home and playing good, sound fundamentals, and we're not getting people suckering too often, and the counters have not really gone too well tonight.
Slot right, out of the I formation. Hayes a quarterback. Looks, there's that tight end again. That's Hoskinson, and Hoskinson with the first down. Boy, that thing has been open all night, Jerry. They've tried to throw it, I think, 4 times, and 3 of them have all gone for good gains. One for the long gain down to the 1-yard line. So they've been doing a great job as far as running that tight end, or the slot back out of there. And the Raiders are going to take a timeout. As Mark Ferris, the defensive coordinator, is a little bit frustrated right now. I'm sure that they talked about that. It was so successful for the Crook County Cowboys in the first half that I'm sure they talked about that at halftime, that they had to cover that, and they come right back to it, and it's successful for the Cowboys again. So we see Wally Green, one of the assistant coaches there, talking to some of his charges. We see in the background there Mike Shanahan with the headset on, the head coach of the Reynolds Raiders.
You know, there's the defensive end is supposed to be over the top of that slot back, and he's supposed to give him a little chuck and not let him out of there so easily. But, you know, it's early in the season, like we commented on, the first ball game, and the boy who's playing the defensive end's a little anxious to get in there, and so he may not be really bumping that slot back the way he should be, and therefore he's releasing very easily, and is a very good target. That time there wasn't anyone around him. The pass was drilled by Hayes right on the numbers, and that pass play has really been a thorn in the Raiders' side all night long.
You might mention just some of the halftime statistics. Reynolds had 18 attempts at rushing for 55 yards. Crook County attempted rushing attempts 19 for 82 yards. Passing, Reynolds 2 for 5 with 1 interception for 23 yards, and Crook County 1 for 6 with two interceptions for 21 yards. Hayes again brings them up. This time they were slot left. Looked like Backman stuffed at the line of scrimmage, not able to break loose for maybe a gain of a half a yard at most.
Ryan Hager got some good penetration and slowed up the runner, but Backman, boy, I tell you, those legs of his must be very strong. He broke loose and actually went for about 2 or 3 yards after he was slowed up in the backfield.
Well, they've got 3 really strong runners here. They've got Backman, and of course Dunaway has shown that he's got great potential, and then Pace also has had a number of fine runs tonight, so they've got 3 outstanding backs that can move that ball. Pitch back to Dunaway, out of the I formation. Good penetration that time. Up into it, although he was in on the tackle. Number 31, Jason Mowdy, again in to disrupt the flow of things and set it up for his teammates on the Raiders to make the tackle, and a loss of about 4 or 5 on the play. So it'll be second down now and about 3rd and 12 with 3:01 to go here in the third quarter, and the Crook County Cowboys leading 7-3 over the Reynolds Raiders. Crook County taking a little time to get this play called. It's going to be close to...
It's going to be a shame if they're called for too much time.
Yeah, although that's something that you anticipate sometimes seeing early season, because of just the communication and getting things ready to go. And there we see the flag thrown, and it is a delay of game. Just took too long to really get the play in that time for the Crook County Cowboys.
It looks like Reynolds has got a little feisty here. They kind of feel that maybe the game might be slipping a little bit from them, and these last 2 plays have made
dead ball,
outstanding
delay,
efforts.
Offense, still third down.
There's your call from the ref, delay of game.
We might mention that next week, some of the things in the game that we will be doing next week is Barlow Rex Putnam. That will be a 6 o'clock game at Mount Hood Community College with a doubleheader. Following the 6 o'clock game, Barlow Putnam here at Mount Hood Community College will be the Reynolds Raiders taking on the #1 ranked Canby Cougars.
Oh,
and there was a good
he was
play.
open. He was open. Oh, I think that Hayes would like to have that ball back again.
That was Backman out into the flat area, and as you said, Jerry, Hayes had him zeroed in and just overthrew him by about a half a yard, and Backman just not quite able to catch up with it. And there weren't any green shirts around there. That would have been a big one.
Definitely a first down. That was, they would have got first down plus.
4th down and 17 now. And Hayes back to punt. Budge back along with number 23, Peter Taylor. Hayes with a
pretty
great
good hit.
booming.
Good kick, hang time
kick.
good.
Taylor down on his knees, so the ball is down right there on the 34-yard line of the Raiders, but a good punt that time by Hayes. Hayes has really shown that he's an all-purpose player. He does their punting, he's their quarterback, and probably will come in on some of the special defensive situations as well, but he's really a fine athlete.
Yeah, he kicked that ball about 35 yards, Jim.
Maroney in at quarterback again for the Raiders. The Raiders have fumbled on their 2 previous possessions in this half, so they need to put something together. Flank to the right is Brian Peterson. Landry in the slot left. Out of split backs. The outside.
Oh, they may have it. They may have it.
Number 19, and a good job. He avoids a tackler, and big gain
First down.
that time by Kent Dawson. Kent Dawson able to get to the outside for about 11 yards and a first down, but nice job that time. Kent Dawson seeing his first action tonight, number 19 for the Raiders.
He was almost tripped up at the line of scrimmage just before he turned the corner, but he was able to stay on his feet, keep his balance, and got his first down.
Nice job. Now, that's something that the Raiders need. They need a spark like that to get them going and then to hang on to the football. Again, they come out in a tight formation, 2 tight ends. Melandria, quick count, and looked like it was as confusing to the Raiders as it was to the Crook County Cowboys. And unfortunately, especially early season, when you try to do something like that to catch the defense off guard, oftentimes you catch some of your own people as well.
Yeah, everybody was moving on that one.
Procedure penalty. It'll be a 5-yard penalty. 1:39 to go here in the third quarter. Crook County 7 and the Reynolds Raiders 3. And I think the offenses have been able to move the ball at times, but there have been a lot of turnovers tonight, and a lot of crucial turnovers. When teams have been driving, they've either thrown interceptions or fumbles, and the fumbles have really hurt the Raiders tonight. And the interceptions of 2 key interceptions the Raiders have against the Crook County Cowboys have stopped their drives. So turnovers have really played an important factor tonight.
And penalties.
Illegal procedure on the offense. Repeat first down.
As you can see, the referee calling a penalty there. He's been doing that quite often, and that's been some of the problems with the team's offenses, stopping themselves, basically.
Split left is Evan Selby. Right is Brian Peterson. Landry in the slot right. Roney, quarterback. Roney back. Quick pass out to Selby, and that time is a quick screen, and actually would have been better off if he wouldn't have caught it because he had a knee down. He did a nice job of catching the ball, but his knee was on the ground, and consequently the ball is down right there for a loss of about 2 or 3 on the play. So now it'll be second down and about 17 And
Reynolds may have to go to this big kid, Peterson, Jim. He's got some good height on this defensive back out here, David Pace, and he's got real good hands and pretty good speed. They may have to go to him to see if they can get a long gainer.
Well, the one thing they haven't done is thrown to a tight end or any of their people on the inside. Maroney again on the slot set right.
The pass is to Peterson. Nice catch, yeah.
With a nice catch is Brian Peterson, one hand bobbling, able to gain control just before he's knocked out of bounds. You see him right there. Great job by Peterson to hang on to that ball. And just as you call it, Jerry, Peterson is a guy that hopefully will pull him out of the doldrums. Gets him down now to 3rd and 11. Ball spotted on about the 44-yard line.
And you know, this defensive back, I was talking about David Pace. Boy, I tell you, he had good position most of the way, but the pass was well thrown, and Brian made a fine catch.
Slot right. Maroney back to pass.
Done away
with
open,
pressure.
if he can hit him.
Oh, good
yeah.
Boy, number 61 got back. Kevin Thompson again from Crook County, able to get back. And as you mentioned, Jerry, the receiver was wide open. Again, that was number 19, Kent Dawson, was out there, and he was open. He had the defensive back beat, but a great job by Thompson.
Yeah, the pass needed a little more air, Jim. It needed to be lobbed over a little bit. And, of course, a young boy like Maroney, he's still got to learn some of those things. But had he lobbed it just a little bit, a little more touch on it, it would have been a very nice pass.
Simmons to punt. Pace is back at a bad snap.
He better do something.
He's got to do something, and he does. Number 61 again. That's Kevin Thompson back there again, and a bad snap that time, and that's one of those breaks, Jerry, that is just so crucial right now. 30 seconds to go here in the 3rd quarter, and that's a tough one.
It is. A bad snap on a punt probably is one of the most devastating things that could happen to a team. You've got a chance to the 4th down punt play is actually a long gaining play. And when you can't get that long gaining play successfully, then you are really in a hole.
They come out of split back, slot right this time. Hayes, a quarterback. In motion is Hoskinson. Hoskinson on the counter. Leaps over the block of Dunaway that time, trying to pick up a little bit of extra yardage, and he picks up about 3 or so on the play. And actually 4 on the play, 5. Gain of 5 on the play, and that, in all likelihood, will be the last play of the 3rd quarter as the ball is spotted on about the 12-yard line. So, and that is the end of the 3rd quarter. The score, the Crook County Cowboys 7 and the Reynolds Raiders 3. And we're going to go to a couple messages right now, and we'll be right back with the exciting 4th quarter action.
Order call, Hong Kong.
Let go of the anchor.
Liberty call now, Liberty call.
Most jobs promise you the world. The Navy delivers. See your recruiter. Navy. It's not just a job. It's an adventure.
Fourth quarter at Mount Hood Community College with the Reynolds Raiders trailing the Crook County Cowboys 7-3, and the Crook County Cowboys in possession on about the 12-yard line of the Raiders. And it's 2nd down now and 5 yards to go as Kevin Hayes, the quarterback for Crook County, brings them up the slot right.
We've got a blitz. They're on him, Jim. He gets it
got
away.
The ball away to Dunaway. Just an outstanding job of getting the ball away. It didn't go for much of a gain, but to avoid the sack, it was a great athletic play by Hayes.
Would have been even a better play that Steve Rock got out there and stopped the pass receiver.
Boy, they were really, actually both teams were fortunate, as you said. Reynolds was fortunate that there was one person there to make the tackle, but very fortunate for Crook County that Hayes has the athletic ability. Slot right again. Hayes a quarterback out of the I formation.
There's that pass. They're looking for the pass.
And they dump it over to Dunaway. Dunaway with a nice move and dives for the first down yardage. And it looks like he does have a first down. And it is a first down for Crook County. And Dunaway, a nice job. But I'll tell you, Hayes read that very well, Jerry. I think that Reynolds had that tight end covered that time, or the slot back, excuse me, Hoskinson. They had him covered, and Dunaway just slid out of the backfield, and Hayes able to dump it over the on-rushing lineman.
Well, Hoskins has been such a threat to them. They covered him well, but they did not see the back coming out of the backfield, and Hoskins in that case was used as a decoy.
And slot right out of the I formation. Here's Dunaway picking his way through. Looked like he might have got about a yard on the play. Down to about the 2-yard line. And again, it looks like now Crook County is going to try to go to some hard-nosed, straight-ahead football, and
I'm sure they are, Jim. They're in there close, and they're just going to power that thing across.
Okay, so we do have a timeout now with Reynolds taking a timeout, and we see Mark Ferris walking out into the Reynolds huddle, and a little bit of frustration right now, I'm sure, for Reynolds, because all of a sudden, bam, you come off of a quarter like that, and you've had a chance to talk to your kids a little bit, and right away they come back with a real key play, and they're down 7-3, the Raiders are, and they need to stop them right here. And so a crucial series for the Reynolds Raiders, as well as the Crook County. Crook County, I'm sure, as you mentioned before, a lot of people going both ways. They're going to have to do some things in terms of scoring now and then trying to hold on from a fatigue standpoint and hope that doesn't catch up with them.
Well, Crook County really is in the driver's seat now, Jim. If they score now, their defense has been a real tough barrier for the Raiders to overcome tonight. They've had some gainers here and there, but not consistent. That Crook County defense has really shut them down, and if they score now, it's going to be a long, long, hard haul to get back in this ball game for the Raiders.
We're here at Mount Hood Community College, and just starting the fourth quarter, 10:39 to go in the fourth quarter. After that Raider timeout now, Kevin Hayes, quarterback for Crook County, brings him up out of the I set. Looks outside and
get a man open. Oh, a fine play.
And he caught the ball. Boy, that was a great job. It was a good job. Brian Peterson trying to get up to deflect the ball. But number 88 able to catch that
I can't
pass.
believe
that was a great
Jim,
catch.
That ball, I think, was tipped.
Yeah, it was. And it was a great job by number 88. That was John Sorensen. Again, that tight end able to slide out. They actually rolled away from where all their wide people were. They had a slot right, and they rolled the opposite way. And first I thought it was going to go to the back, but he found the tight end in the end zone for the touchdown.
I did too. I thought he was going to go to that back, because the back was actually open.
Aaron Dickinson for the extra point attempt. Ball's down, up, and it looks like it is good.
Oh, it is, and the holder did a good job of controlling that snap.
So with 10:35 to go here in the fourth quarter, on a short pass out to the tight end, Crook County moves ahead to a 14-3 advantage, and Crook County looks tough right now. They look like they've got a little confidence going for them now, Jerry.
They really are fired up. It appeared when they came out at halftime, Jim, that they really said, hey, let's get down to business, and we're going to push that ball down into that end zone. And they've done just that.
Well, the Reynolds Raiders were the first to draw blood with 5:52 to go in the second quarter on a field goal by Steve Rays, but the Crook County Cowboys have come back now to score 14 points in a row, and their second touchdown right there was on a 3-yard pass to the tight end, John Sorensen, from Kevin Hayes, and a very nice play, actually, well run. The offensive back was out there and really took the defense with him, but then a nice job of catching the ball by Sorensen in the end zone for the touchdown. Dickinson to kick. Back to receive. It's number 22, Travis. Excuse me, 32. It's Dupuy. Ball taken by number 23, Peter Taylor. Comes up the sideline, and again, pretty good coverage. Nice job, though, by Taylor to get as much yardage as he did. Got the ball up to about the 29, a Raider 29, so it will be Raider ball, 1st and 10 from their own 29. And with about 10.5 minutes to go here, they have got to get something going. They have not been able to do anything. The turnovers have just killed them so far here in the second half.
Yeah, they'd have a couple of good plays. It looked like they were going to move the ball, and then they'd stop themselves.
Maroney at quarterback out of a tight formation. On the option to the outside, Maroney turns it up, cuts back.
Nice decision, nice decision.
He's got some room if he can go, Great job by Maroney, a nice job. And touchdown saving tackle by number 82 that time, Stanack. And he was able to haul Maroney down, but Maroney with a great cutback. Jerry went out on the option and read that as we see him right here. He cuts back, and Stanack is able to hang on, but a great job that time by Maroney to recognize where the defense was playing and then cut back up inside.
He did. He cut back against the grain, and the pursuit had all gone to the far side of the field, and it gave him an open space to this side.
Selby split left, split backs. Number 32 on the outside tries to cut up, but the defense is there, and that's Brent Dupuy again. Dupuy trying to get to the outside, and Dupuy really is the speed that they need in that backfield, but they just can't seem to get him around the corner. Olandria has shown some speed, but Dupuy has really not been able to break loose yet tonight. We see him coming off the field there.
Some tremendous flow by that Crook County defense. They had a lot of people over there very quickly.
Ball right on the 50-yard line now, 2nd and 8 for the Raiders. Quarterback. Maroney on the option to the outside, trying to get outside. That's number 19, Ken Dawson again, but boy, I'll tell you what, the Crook County people read that one early and got there quick.
John Backman, here he is playing a fine game offensively, and now on defense, comes up and throws the runner for about a 5-yard loss.
That was a great defensive play, and there were about 3 or 4 people right there. You mentioned earlier their pursuit, and you would think that with so many people going both ways that eventually they might get a little bit tired, but they certainly have found a little bit of adrenaline to pump into themselves here in the 4th quarter and playing a great defensive game right now. Pro set this time, Maroney back, but he is there was no blocking up front whatsoever. 69 and 73, 69 Mike Ford, 73 Brent Fehrenbacher. Both of those people were right on top of Maroney before he even had a chance to turn around and look upfield.
And that wasn't even a blitz, Jim. That was just a straight charge out of that front 3.
Simmons back to punt. Pace deep for the Crook County Cowboys. Good punt by Simmons this time. Pace coming up, receives it. Nice job, and he comes up, and a pretty good coverage that time. There's a fumble on the play. I'm not sure.
Real nice hit.
And it looked like Reynolds recovered it. Able to knock the ball loose. Pace unable to hang on to the ball, but a great job by the Reynolds Raiders to get down.
Mike Card got down there, Jim, and just put a real good hit on the ball carrier and jarred the ball loose, and Reynolds was able to jump on that fumble.
Troy Danielson also in on that hit, and so it was a good job. That was a good exchange for the Raiders. Maybe the spark that they need now. They have not gotten many breaks in this 2nd half, and that's the first one, and maybe they can take advantage of it. Maroney again at quarterback. Slot right. Maroney on the option to the right. He cuts back up. Same play again. Tries to cut up on the inside and picks up about 6 or 7 yards on the play. And that's been very effective for him because it looks like that Crook County has the option defense pretty well. And Maroney finally now is recognizing that and able to turn up on the inside there of the defensive end and get some pretty good yardage. He's had 2 or 3 nice runs now in the 2nd half. So it'll be 2nd down and about 4. Ball spotted on the 32-yard line of Crook County. Maroney back, but he's just smothered.
Yes. That's that big Brent Fehrenbacher again.
Well, I tell you, when he turns around, all he saw was a 7 and a 3 right in his face mask, and he didn't have a chance. He did a great job of just getting the ball away and not getting sacked.
He really did. He came right over the middle and broke. You don't see the type of techniques that I've seen in high school ball. He did a swim over action, a crawfish action that was really outstanding.
3rd down now, 4 yards to go. Maroney tight set now, split backs. Maroney on the option again, ball outside, ball on the ground. And it looks like Reynolds was able to recover that one, but very fortunate actually, Jerry. not a, you know, I don't think that number 19, Ken Dawson, really ever had control of that ball on the pitch. Maroney was kind of pressured when he made the pitch, and there's no control, and the ball hit the ground, and fortunately, Reynolds was able to retain possession.
Yes, that was Scott Trahorn, the center, who followed up the play and jumped on that fumble. But you're right, Jim. He never did have a handle on that ball. Maroney, I think, had to pitch that ball just a little bit out of control because the defensive end came down on him hard, and he had to get rid of it quite quickly. And it just was not a real good pitch.
4th and 9. Reynolds going for it. And just before they got it off, right at the snap, flag goes up for a delay of game, and that's a tough one because I think they had something designed where, you know, you have a lot of plays where you can get 8, 9 yards, maybe 10 yards, but when you have to get more than 10 in a passing situation, that almost requires your lineman to hold a block for another extra second. And with the type of charge that
delay a game, offense, still 4th down.
With the type of charge that Crook County's getting, that extra second, that's almost non-existent.
That's exactly right. That extra 5 yards that receiver has to run to make it to the 1st down marker requires the offensive line to hold their blocks for just another count, or maybe even 2. Give that quarterback time to deliver the ball.
Double split now. Maroney out on the option. Going to turn it up, and a nice job by Maroney, and got it. Oh, and just barely. Again, that was Dunaway coming across 28 and really just got his hands out and knocked Maroney down. Maroney was looked like he might have been off to the race and had a shot at that 1st down, but Dunaway with a saving tackle there, number 28 from Crook County.
Now, Dunaway not made that tackle, Maroney would have got about 5 or 6 more yards, and that would have been just about all he needed for a 1st down.
So Crook County takes over now with 5:44 left to go here in the 4th period. Ball being spotted on the 35-yard line of Crook County. They come up in a slot right. Kevin Hayes at quarterback out of an I set. Hayes hands off straight ahead.
Oh, fine shot.
Straight ahead. Good job by the defense
fine job that time.
And that was number 28, Dunaway again.
And
well, he's got to be getting tired.
Right. Joe Rivera submarine down in there real low from his linebacking spot and tripped him up.
Well, Dunaway in the backfield, both have gone both ways, playing the linebacker spots, and they've been involved in a lot of tackles. They've got to be getting a little bit tired. And right now, it's just a matter of trying to maintain possession for Crook County.
I don't think they've been off the field, Jim.
And that's Pace this time carrying the ball. And Pace, another of their strong ball carriers, coming in to try to give some people a little bit of a breather. But he's stuffed right at the line of scrimmage. Pretty good job that time. Troy Danielson in on the tackle, number 70 for the Raiders. A loss on the play, so it's 2nd down and 3rd and 12 now. 12 from the 33-yard line of Crook County. Crook County comes out in slot right, I formation. Hayes at quarterback, drops back to pass, looking, screen set up
pass.
On the left side.
Oh, but he read it.
And number 40 came up very quick. That was Ben Clark with just a great effort to actually break a block, read the play, and stop Dunaway that time for a loss of about 3 on the play. So it'll be 4th down now at about 14.
That was a very long gainer. Have Ben Clark not been there. He was the only man there. They had 3 and 4 blockers out in front of that receiver when he received the screen pass, and it would have been a long gainer, if not something that would go all the way.
Crook County is back to punt. Reynolds coming after. Nice, gets a high punt, short but high.
Should be some interference there, Jim.
And there is
Should be some interference.
You have to give that receiver 5 yards in order to catch the ball, and that time it looked like the punt was so short that the Raider had come up, signaled a fair catch. I think that was Kirk Budge again, and he had signaled a fair catch, and the defense did not give him the necessary yardage to catch the ball.
Yeah, they were breathing right down Kirk Budge's throat. He's not a real big man, and those big guys just actually shadowed him so much that he was unable to even see the ball, I think.
Right. Now we'll see what the call is going to be, how they're going to mark this. Call interference on the defense. And we'll wait to see where they spot the ball. Interference normally is a 15-yard penalty from the previous snap point. So, let's see, there's one of the heartbreaks for the Reynolds Raiders. You saw on crutches there with Zane Smith, had an unfortunate accident. And it looks like they're going to mark it from the spot of the interference. So that's a 15-yard penalty. Boy, that is a big penalty. That really gives Reynolds a tremendous break now.
Reynolds has got to score fast.
On the offense, first down.
They've had some breaks here, and they have not taken advantage of them. They've let them slip through their fingers. They've had an opportunity, good ball position, field position on the field, and they just have not done anything with it. They've got to score in very short order.
Ball marked on the 39-yard line. Maroney on the fumble. And
I think
corrections. That was Brian Heath at quarterback, number 10 now. But very fortunate to recover that. That was just a real mix-up. We have 3:09, 3:08 now left in the fourth quarter, and the clock's really ticking away right now. Heath at quarterback, trying to get something going. Tough situation for the young man to come in. Option.
There's a pitch. He's got a little running room.
Landria tries to cut it back in, and he does pick up about 6 or 7 on the play. But
I really think he would have done a better job if he stayed the outside that time, Jim. But the boy, he says, I got to get some yardage, and he cut up, and there were 3 or 4 Crook County people just waiting for him.
He did have quite a bit of room, and he had a couple blockers on the outside too. Had he been able to get around that corner or continue on around the corner, but he chose to cut back in. You see number 61 going off there, Kevin Thompson. That's a tough one because Kevin has had a great ball game.
Right.
He's had a great ball game for the Crook County Cowboys, and Reynolds is in a hurry-up offense now. Brian Heath at quarterback. They realize that time is really one of the big factors they have to overcome at this point. 2:43 to go here in the fourth quarter, and the clock is now running. Third down and about 5. Heath back to pass. Good penetration, and he throws the ball out, but under great pressure that time. Boy, I tell you what, he saw nothing but 6s there. That was number 66.
Big Jim Layton again. What a ball game he's played.
Well, you mentioned before those front people, and Layton and those people up front have just done an outstanding job, and Heath really didn't have a chance that time. 4th and 5 now. Ball on the 35-yard line of Crook County, and a big break right here for the Reynolds Raiders in getting possession here on the fumble, but they have not been able to capitalize on it up to this point. We'll see what happens here as Selby is flanked right. Lander in the slot left, split backs. Heath at quarterback. Heath back to pass. Got some protection over the middle, but no.
He overthrew him.
He really did not have his feet set that time, Jerry. The old back foot situation where he really didn't have himself set, and Brian Peterson was wide open, as you mentioned before. Peterson had a real small player on him, a defensive back, and Peterson at about 6'2", 6'3", was wide open down the middle. There we see our score, 14-3 right now, with Crook County leading Reynolds, and it's 2:27 to go here in the fourth quarter. Jerry, what can they do right now? What's Reynolds got to do? First of all, they got to get the ball, don't they?
They're going to try to do an awful lot of blitzing and see if they can disrupt anything that's happening. And yet, it might be difficult because I think Prineville's just going to play blast football.
They'll just go down, hunker down a little bit. And there's the thing you got to be very careful of is Pace splits it up the middle. Is they're so concentrating on trying to strip that ball and break in and create a loss that if they are able to cut through that front line of the defense, a lot of times big gainers can result from that.
You bet, Jim. And it's a gamble right now. And they did exactly what I thought they might do, and that's run the blast play. Blast play is a real safe play to run up in there, and it has the opportunity to break free.
It was David Pace on the carry, and split backs again. Straight ahead this time. Backman just
hard
bowling
running.
as well.
Hard running.
You can see that one thing that the Reynolds coaches are doing, they're getting a lot of different people in so they get a little bit of game experience, and it's making it kind of tough on them because Crook County doesn't have any other folks to put in there.
They didn't bring as many kids as I thought they would, Jim, and a lot of kids going both ways. Excellent football players and excellently conditioned.
Well, they would have to be. You know, as we mentioned, it was 90 degrees today here in the Portland Gresham area, and so it's still warm this evening, and it takes some outstanding conditioning to maintain that type of intensity. Pace again up the middle. David Pace on a first down carry picks up about 4 on the play, so it'll be 2nd down and 6 with 1:44 to go here in the 4th period. Crook County Cowboys leading the Reynolds Raiders 14-3, and Crook County really in control right now. The only thing that they are concerned about is the clock and hanging on to the football. They realize Reynolds has had to use a number of timeouts in defensive situations and such throughout the game, and right now they can't really stop the clock enough times to get possession again. Straight ahead, good surge that time by Reynolds, able to break through, and that time it looked like maybe one of the Crook County Cowboys wasn't quite fresh, and Reynolds able to jump through there, and Reynolds does take a timeout here. That was number 72 on the tackle, Jason Osborne, who has had a great game. There's a number of people from Reynolds that have really done well, and I think that, you know, you have to kind of keep things in perspective from Mike Shanahan's point of view. The 2 non-league games, tough games to have when you go up against preseason number 6 and Crook County, and Crook County really, you know, not in the top 10 now, but still they have to be considered one of the favorites in the Intermountain Conference. Next week you have to come back against number 1 ranked Canby. Tough road to hoe for Reynolds.
It really is, and Mike Shanahan has a tough job. He's putting 2 teams together that were actually opponents last year, players that have played against one another for 2-3 years, and then they come together as a group, and it takes them a little while to maybe gel and gain confidence in one another so that they can put a good offense and defense together. You know, football, a team like that, it is a team effort. The man next to you has his job to do, and each man has his specific job, and if there's any doubt about what your teammates' abilities are, sometimes things just don't gel, and especially in an early season under these conditions that Mike is having to work with.
Well, we talked before the idea that the first 2 weeks are non-league games, and that's really got to help, although the opponents certainly aren't going to help in the quality of teams that they're playing. But as we see Crook County coming out of a 3rd and 6 here, keeping the ball, trying to keep it in bounds, running the sweep plays, anything that'll run the clock now with 1 minute even to go and counting here in the 4th quarter. But the preseasons are really they're going to have to use that very wisely, their preseason time, because they've got to get some people ready to play in that league, because they come right back on their 3rd week and they play Barlow, a strong team in the Mount Hood Conference. So, Reynolds opens with on the 22nd with Central Catholic, one of the 4 or 5 top teams in the conference, and then they come back against Barlow. So they've got 4 tough ball games right in a row with these Crook County Cowboys, Canby, Central Catholic, and then Barlow.
Oh, it's a short snap, Coach. They're pulling a tricky, and he's got the 1st down.
And just trying to run the ball down, and
he is out of bounds and stops the clock, but basically the game is over, I think, Jim.
Yeah, it was a situation where Crook County, even if they hadn't got the 1st down, they realized that the clock was running and that it'd be pretty tough in 13 seconds to score 2 touchdowns for Reynolds. So Crook County really just trying to run out the clock in this situation, and a tough loss for Reynolds. You know, they're going to have to regroup mentally and get prepared to play number 1 and look upon that as a real challenge and an opportunity. They can't really go into that one, you know, with any overconfidence, obviously, but they are going to have to go in there with the idea that there are certain goals that they're going to need to meet. Looks like it'll be the last play of the ball game. 13 seconds to go. Pace straight up in the middle. Again, just trying to run the clock out as Crook County now lets the clock run down as we go down 4-3-2, and the Crook County Cowboys have defeated the Reynolds Raiders 14-3 in the season opener for both teams and the maiden game of the new Reynolds High School. And I think Mike Shanahan has to be disappointed, but also he's got to see some bright spots. There was some strong play. Jason Rome came in, did a good job running the ball, and there was also some good young linemen up front. So I think that there's definitely some things to build on, and Reynolds has their work cut out next week. And of course, Crook County going on into that tough Intermountain Conference, they really have a strong team. I think they're young, but they grew a lot tonight.
We've got some fine athletes that went both ways, that are good, solid football players. And like you say, this, Jim, is a good starting point for Mike Shanahan. I think his team has learned a lot of lessons. Even the last fake punt, where they ran the punt play, and was a lesson that can be learned by the Reynolds defense, and maybe they'll be ready for it the next time that they play.
Okay, two teams that unfortunately they have to play